there is a lot of value in being more open. And, I mean, since the first episode that we recorded of this, I had been contemplating when to tell my parents, when to tell family members, and I've since told them just recently. And I did
How did
it
that
with
go?
I did it with such hesitation. I mean, I actually did it kind of spur of the moment. I didn't have
Okay.
it fully mapped out. It just happened to be a time when it was just me on this Zoom call. Everyone else was otherwise occupied, and so I just chose it as a moment to. I said, "Oh yeah," because obviously they knew you growing up, and I said, "Oh, did I tell you about that project Jay and I are working on?" And it kind of organically evolved from there, and I found myself being apologetic. And I don't
Okay.
know if it'd be curious to hear your story about you telling your parents, because I felt as though this is exactly what I said. You guys gave everything you possibly had to put me through school. And I know for a fact they did that. Even when they didn't own a home, or,
Yeah.
they weren't saving for the retirement. They gave it all to me and my sister to make school happen. And I felt as though me coming to a point in my professional career where I was going to make a different set of decisions, that I was letting them down. And they were both in tears. And I was like, oh no, this is going really poorly. And my mother just said, we couldn't be happier for you. I mean, this is what
Yeah.
every parent wants for their kid, to find success and be able to self-direct and find agency in their
Right.
life. And it's like, to them, it was the ultimate sign of having been successful parents, rather than how I was kind of building it up in my mind to be this, oh, they're going to be disappointed. You always want to make your parents happy and proud of you. They
Of
were
course.
filled with pride about it. And it became, instead of this barrier, because I felt like I was hiding something from them.
Yeah.
So instead of that barrier, I mean, I can't tell you how relieved I was.
I bet.
They couldn't have been more supportive, but it's a very personal decision on when you choose to tell family. Like, how
Yeah.
did it work for you? I mean, have you told everybody? Like, what?
Yeah.
Uh,
So
Tell me about
first
that.
of all, I would say my parents' reaction when I did talk to them, and obviously, they've realized more and more over time, as shown more from this project and my writing in particular.
Yeah.
Been very, very supportive. Uh, you know, Really, just great reaction, very encouraging, and they're just so great about even just reading everything I put out there and reacting to it publicly and also one on one.
Mhm.
And it's really reassuring. And, like your parents, I mean, just really great people and couldn't be happier. I think from my perspective, though, I definitely didn't do a great job of, kind of talking them through it, well in advance and helping them understand the reasons why. I get super uncomfortable at that type of stuff. And just kind of the way I've related to my parents as an adult, for sure, is to kind of keep any of the challenging stuff in and not share it. I don't know,
Huh.
not wanting to burden them is the way I've described it to Lori before, which is stupid, right? Of course they would want to know,
Yeah.
but share good stuff with them. Um, you know, Keep them, I don't know, informed and feeling happy and confident that I'm doing well. I don't know where that comes from, because Lori, like, I watch the way she talks to her parents. It's great. Like, she shares everything with them, the good and the bad and the
Yeah.
challenging and the
Yeah.
successes. And I'm, by my nature, and some of it might just be avoiding situations that feel confrontational to me or could turn confrontational. I,
But it's also in some ways a flex. This is how I felt. And
yeah, it is. No, it is. It is. I
because they
mean to
didn't
say that in
retire
front
until,
of kids.
I mean,
Last couple of years.
yeah, they worked a long time. And, you know, it's always, I felt really, that's a thing, that the welling of guilt inside of me
Yeah.
was that a reaction to that.
I do have a lot of guilt about success.
Yeah.
Um, it's something I've always dodged. I mean, my siblings at times over the years in my career have asked me questions about, like, earning and, bonuses and things like that. And I have always dodged them
Yeah. Yeah.
because it feels uncomfortable to me, like bragging if I talk about what I earn. And I've had people judge me for it, whether they meant it that way or not. It felt that way, like, oh, that must be nice. That's literally one of the most painful things for me to hear, anytime I hear that must be nice,
Like you didn't
because
earn it.
number one, I did earn it, but number two, I do recognize the privilege that I have,
Yeah.
and we've talked about that before. Being born into a family that had access to electricity and clean water, and they
Yeah.
put us in school, and they supported us, to your point, in college. That is all being very fortunate. We were set up for success, and then we had to do something with it. We had to work hard and make good decisions and all of that. So yeah, it must be nice. It always like gets me right here, and it shouldn't, right? You should have a barrier against that. But anyway, so for whatever that list of reasons, I mean, I do feel guilt when talking about it. I see my family, my extended family, still working, or having worked to a traditional retirement age, and it feels weird to be like, oh yeah, I was able to do this sooner.
Yeah.
And
And
I don't feel like
also,
I'm not better because I could do that, or it's not like I'm a success and somebody else is a failure. But I feel that way if I start talking about it.
yeah.
So I try to be pretty modest about it. It was a huge step for me to start writing about it. But in many ways, like that's the only way I could do it easily, right? Just putting my thoughts out there for random people to see, for my family to see, for my
Yeah.
friends to see, and just hope they react well, and hope that when I'm given the time, or I take the time to like try to articulate my thoughts, that I would do a better job of that than in the moment I would do verbally. I mean, I suspect, even just saying that though, I suspect it was better for you to do it spontaneously than preparing like what you wanted to say and all that. Cause I get wrapped around the axle around that kind of stuff. I don't know if you do, but I don't know. I'm not surprised your parents reacted the way they did though. That's really great to hear.
It was so, yeah, that was pretty amazing feeling. But I still haven't told my sister. She doesn't know. and,
Wow.
and she, yeah.
Tell
And
me
you know
about
what's
that.
funny? She's, at a point now where, so she's been calling me a lot and asking me questions about, investing, and so
Okay.
they wanted to open like a brokerage account. And I was like, is your retirement account like fully funded? Like she's self-employed. And I said, you should open a solo 401k because you can tax optimize with a solo 401k, like nothing
Right.
else. And, she was considering contributing to post-tax stuff before pre-tax. I'm like, yeah, but that's not how it works. And so I feel like some of this can just be the value of having the conversation is just that it's going to help
It will.
someone who is interested in even just being smart with money, because that's part of this whole path for me that's been especially transformative, has been just refocusing and really dialing in on finances as a whole. And it
Yeah.
just makes you smarter and just a better, citizen in the world, being able to
I
have
think so.
control over all that information. And I'm super appreciative that you helped me kind of just understand that all of this is within your reach. Like the questions my sister's asking me is all stuff she could find online.
Yeah.
But what she's coming to me with is like, well, Charles Schwab could be this, and Vanguard is over here, and Fidelity, and everyone's got their own thing. And it is this confusing raft of information that
So much.
if you don't have any way to navigate it, it's like the Monte Carlo thing, like that, even that feels a little intimidating to me. And I've been thinking about this pretty hard for many, many months. And
Yeah.
so I don't know when I'm going to tell my sister. I haven't really decided, but it is one of those
Okay.
things, it's what do you keep hidden from people who are close to you?
So much of that stuff is built is just sort of those relationships and the way you carry yourself and the things you talk about and don't, right? That practice is built up over years and years and years.
Yeah.
And it's not to say you can't change it at any time, but like that activation energy to exceed, like that's a very real thing for some of us that
what do you
maybe
mean?
didn't talk openly. I mean that, like, to change your behavior, right? To start talking about something more than you had done historically,
Oh,
for
okay.
whatever the reasons
Yeah.
were. I know for me that's a big deal, and it seems stupid, right? It seems crazy to not be always open and honest, and just kind of with people who you care about so much.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's got all this other baggage attached to it, and like
Yeah.
money is its own thing, right? Money and wealth and like your status relative to someone else is like a weird thing. And look, I mean, a lot of business has been written about this, like the effect of social media, like people posting their like epic vacations, and
Right.
other people feeling really bad, like they're failing at life because they can't take that kind of vacation. Like this stuff is real. Like people do react emotionally to these things, and so it's no surprise that people feel weird.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's great that she asked you about it. I love that. And maybe it's an opportunity to talk more on that. You know, you could send her the financial order of operations.
I totally did. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Like,
I
I'm
did.
not surprised that
You
you
know-
did.
yeah,
That's
you know
so useful. Or the index card strategy, right? All that stuff is so good for getting started.
You know what she did? She's like, whoa. It was that kind of reactions. Baby steps. But I think they're all good, steps to take. And it just makes me wonder, when you start learning about these things, you start learning what questions to ask. It's the unknown unknowns that are the scariest,